A very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us on another edition of Almond Finance and Wealth Report, your source for latest happenings in the financial sector of the nation's economy. I am Jennifer Obidi-Ebube. On this edition of the program, we take a breather from our usual lineup to bring you a special report entitled Rethinking the Insurance Business in Nigeria, Research and Data Development. For starters, experts have estimated that the Nigerian insurance sector is losing over 6 billion naira yearly to the proliferation of fake marine insurance certificates at the ports due to a lack of data. Now, this report will x-ray the critical role of data development and management in the survival of insurance business in Nigeria. Details after the break. Please stay with us.
Insurance is the bedrock on which modern society thrives. As risk bearers, risk management has always been an integral part of the insurance business, not just in Nigeria, but in other parts of the world. Firms succeed through their ability to identify and manage risks facing their clients, either individuals or corporate clients. But the nature of risks that insurers need to manage is changing, especially on the investment side of the business. Insurers face persistently low interest rates and fluctuating equity market returns, which has made it impossible for them to pay good dividends to their shareholders, who are most often angry at the regulators.
You may also be aware that of recent news publication in the media being orchestrated by shareholders of insurance companies, putting the blame of the inability of companies to pay them dividends squarely on the 1% insurance levy, fines, and penalties paid to NICOM. We have refrained from joining issues with the shareholders on the pages of newspapers, because we want to believe that they are deliberately being misinformed and misled by management of some of the insurance companies to cover up the gross financial mismanagement in these companies. The Commission sympathizes with the shareholders because they have a right to be aggrieved over the nil return on their investment. Meanwhile, for the benefit of discerning shareholders of quoted insurance companies and the general public, I make bold to say that as a government agency that believes in the rule of law, NICOM has never charged any insurance institution any levy outside the law that governs its operations. Let me use this medium to invite the management of all insurance companies to make public the charges they have incurred from NICOM, which is outside the excellent law governing the sector. I also dare them to make public the sum total of charges each company has paid to NICOM at the end of the financial year in relation to their gross premium income that has culminated in their inability to pay dividend to their shareholders. On this same issue of 1% insurance levy, it is imperative to note that it is a statutory provision of the law and not a regulation of NICOM. For the avoidance of doubt, Part 4, Section 16, Subsection 1B of the NICOM Act 1997 mandates all insurance institutions to remit 1% of their gross premium to the Commission as insurance development levy. This system of funding of regulators applies to most sector regulators in Nigeria. It's not only to NICOM.
Today, insurers need a more dynamic approach to meet their liabilities. This often entails increasing allocation to more complex asset classes. To manage risk and optimize performance across a highly diversified multi-asset class portfolio, insurers need timely, accurate data and the ability to test multiple scenarios quickly and efficiently. Additionally, regulatory compliance continues to be a major challenge for the industry. Some of the most high-profile regulations set exacting new standards for the way insurers manage their data.
Risk-based supervision is a structured supervisory approach that aimed at identifying the most critical risks that face each company. Most critical risk here is referring to inherent risk that an insurance company faces. Is either by the nature of his business, he faces it, or it could even be generated by him internally. So the risk event may be external and internal to an organization. So also it is to us. Now, and that face each company, like you said, and through a focused review by the supervisor to assess the company's management of those risks and the company's financial vulnerability to potential adverse experience. You recall the experience or the example I attempted to make of the pedestrian who was trying to cross the street. The critical risk that he faced at that point was the probability or the possibility of a vehicle knocking him down. And so, while two pedestrians may be standing, one may intend to cross the road, the other may intend to walk and just use the same lane where he was standing. That means no two persons, even at the same spot, faces the same risk. Does it not appear so? Is it not so? One may intend to cross, he faces an immediate one. The other one wants to walk through till he gets to the next junction before he crosses. So also it is to companies. You know, some live examples we give also pertains to how it occurs even here at our homes. And that is why sometimes we attempt to domesticate examples so that it becomes life. It gives life to it. And so no two companies faces the same risk even if they are near in the same circumstance. But it depends on the approach that they intend to take. But the supervisor in this case now have come up with a structured meaning that there is a standardized approach. There is a standardized step that must be followed in the process of assessing both the risk that company is facing, and in assessing the risk of different companies while using the same standard, knowing fully well that they don't face exactly the same level of risk. They also ensure that it is not a matter of one shoe fits all. So you moderate what you do using the standard methodology, structure it in accordance with the business, the nature of business, the size and complexity of the risk of a company. And then when the assessment is now done, all the risk that the company faces, as much as possible, it cannot be 100%. You know, I gave it that my standing here, any coverage of inspection may not be 100.
This combination of a dynamic market environment and a more stringent regulatory regime creates the need for stronger data systems and analytics. More than ever, chief investment officers of insurance companies need readily available data on investment opportunities and risks. Valid data helps insurers to both manage risks in the portfolio and make the right decisions to optimize returns. It is an intensely challenging time for insurers as they need more sophisticated tools to manage multi-asset portfolios, as they also need to master regulatory complexity. These issues are putting huge strains on insurers' existing data systems.
Risk-based supervision has confused a lot of listeners to the name, including the operators and the journalists. For that reason, we decided to make it the subject of this interaction in this outing. We're going to make a presentation on risk-based supervision as basic as we can, so that you will appreciate the need for the establishment of that approach, which is the international norm. And you will also, by the end of it, hopefully understand the role of each of the parties in the establishment of that supervisory approach. That includes the role of the insurance company and that of the regulator. Insurance regulation has since moved to exclude supervision of the companies, which is what regulators used to do. And it used to consume a lot of time of regulators. And there's no regulator in the world that has the capacity to regulate and also supervise the activities of management of our companies. In that respect, the board was identified to be the best unit in the corporate structure to do supervision. So the risk-based supervision will identify roles for the board of directors to play, which were defined in that code we released. The kind of board structure they should have, the board committees they should have, the kind of individuals that should man those boards in order to attain the objective of those companies and to make regulation smooth. In all I've mentioned above, the media has a major role to play. And I believe collaboration between the media and us would only raise the awareness and will sensitize all, most especially the consumer of our services, to the benefits of insurance that has been with him but he has been ignoring or overlooking. And the risk-based supervision approach being the last of the initiatives that will finally bring our industry to the fore, has already been released. We released a guideline in 2013. When? Yes. 2013. I can claim I was not in NICOM then, so I don't remember the date. But we have released the guideline already to the market on an approach of the risk-based supervision. In the last insurance committee meeting, we also explained further to the members of their attendance. We reminded them how many forums we have created to sensitize them, to inform them, which they took for granted. But now we cannot delay it any further. So we released to them the information that by the second quarter of the year, which is from next month, we'll release a full implementation timetable, which will include everything from governance to finance to risk management, on how the risk-based supervision regime will be managed. The presenter has promised that he will make his presentation so easy to understand, and it will cover the subject effectively. What I will expect you to do as the listening audience is to note your questions and ask them, and avoid speculation. Risk-based supervision is an art that is defined by its concept, by its approach, so it provides no ground for speculation. But in every subject in the world, there is that word, however, that defines an alternative. The however risk-based supervision is for you to understand it, for you to ask the questions if you don't understand it, and for you to assist us and the market in accepting that regime as the way forward. And the regime, like I mentioned in the insurance committee meeting, will include a definite need for consolidation. And I will address that statement again because it has been misquoted in so many articles I've seen. Consolidation does not mean closing companies, merging companies arbitrarily as far as risk base is concerned. To consolidate in this case will be to redefine the operation of each company into a bracket on which his capital and his assets will enable him to operate.
Drivers of change in the insurance industry include more stringent risk management standards. Regulators are demanding greater transparency. The data challenge is to collect, extract, standardize, and report on the right information. Another driver of change in the industry is competitive pressure. Insurers need to identify opportunities for performance improvements and enhancing investment returns. For this, they need tools that enable better allocation decisions and ability to execute rapidly on opportunities. The need for insurers in Nigeria to rethink their business operations with emphasis on research and data development and management cannot be overemphasized. For example, experts have estimated that the Nigerian insurance sector is losing over 6 billion naira annually to the proliferation of fake marine insurance certificates at the ports. This estimate also applies to motor vehicle insurance, especially the compulsory third-party variety. The fakers are smiling to the bank, and insurers are crying because of lack of accurate data. Apart from these two major classes of insurance business that bring the lack of research and data availability to light, many have wondered on the availability of data on the number of adult Nigerians that have any form of insurance policy.
Nigeria Insurance Association is a key partner in the implementation of the national financial inclusion strategy. We have a couple of your members who have been attending our meetings, and we are appreciative of this. Now, briefly, I have listened to the presentation of our special guest, and I discovered that even our women from the marketplaces, something kept coming up from all the presentations, and that is lack of trust, lack of financial education. I think these two issues kept coming up from all the presentations. And for us at the Financial Inclusion Secretariat, we believe these two issues must be addressed by the association and the industry. Now, secondly, we also wish to also let you know that if we are doing so much in the industry, but we don't have quality data to show for it, the world will not know what we are doing. Why do I say this? We at the Secretariat, we publish industry data for the banking sector, for the insurance sector, for the pension industry, and then for all other sectors that have to do with financially including our people. Okay, you have rolled out, our guest speaker rolled out the statistics. We have about 39.5 million people that are not included in any way in Nigeria right now, as at the end of 2014. They don't have insurance, they don't have a bank account, They don't transfer money through any electronic channels. They don't have anything to do with formal financial system. And we are saying that this is a huge market. This is more than 39 million people. It's more than the population of several countries. Okay, so we are saying for insurance, for banking, for pension industry, this is a huge market for you, and you need to make use of this opportunity. Now, we want you to be able to the industry, we want to speak to the industry stakeholders that you should roll out good data, quality data. The last data we received from the industry through the NICOM, National Insurance Commission, it wasn't good enough because we could not even get disaggregated data, gender-wise. We don't have number of women who have insurance products, we don't have. Number of men who have insurance products, we don't have. And the disaggregation by sector, general insurance, agri insurance, life insurance and all that. We need to get quality data. So I'm throwing this as a challenge to our association that our experts going forward, we should try, when NICOM beckons on us to give data, please let us give quality data, and the Secretariat will be willing to publish all this so that the world will know the progress we have made in the insurance sector.
The realization that data has become a competitive asset should drive substantial investments in this area for insurance companies that want to see growth in the future. More generally, IT investment needs to support the industry's best growth opportunities. No doubt, the insurance industry runs on twin engines: underwriting and investment. Both sides of the business have faced challenges for years in Nigeria, but insurers' investment operations have been particularly constrained in recent years. Insurers globally are viewing data and analytics as the key to accelerating the investment side of their business. Leading insurers like AXA and AIG are already gaining a tangible competitive advantage from their data and analytics. However, insurers in Nigeria are just waking up slowly to the challenges of data development and management to the survival of their business. Be that as it may, one thing is clear: data-driven insights will be key to mastering the emerging business opportunities in Nigeria.
Alright, welcome back. Now, for insurance companies that want to survive, no doubt investment in data development and management is very key. And that's all we can take on this edition of the program. I do hope you liked watching it. For questions, comments, and sponsorship details, please contact us on 01 7763 981 or 080 335 7879 or 090 9685 2685, or send us an email on almond4xx@yahoo.com or almondproduction@gmail.com. Also visit us on our website almondreports.com. You can also like us on our Facebook page Almond Finance and Wealth Report, and subscribe to our YouTube channel Almond Reports TV to view past episodes of this program. I urge you to join us every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m. live on Niger FM 102.7 for our Pidgin English program Waiting Insurance They Do Serve. You can also reach us on WhatsApp on 080 335 7879 and join the conversation on Twitter at Madam Insurance. This program also airs on BCOS television every Thursday at 6 p.m. for those in Ibadan and environ. I am Jennifer Obidiebobe, and until we come your way next time, goodbye.